Today talking about the new album from Body Count, a Ratt record I picked up, opened the mail, and tons more. Cheers to Friday. All right, 33ers. Big cheers to everyone who bought one of these. Let me focus on it. One of these Friday night vinyl whiskey glasses this week. Join me for a drink. Cheers to you. Let me put the focus back over there. Anyway, I got a bunch of stuff I want to talk about today, so let's get right into it. I picked up the new release from Body Count. This is called Merciless. It came out towards the end of 2024, and this album artwork is wild, man. Completely over the top. And that's what I dig about Ice-T. He is completely over the top. On this album cover, he's dressed up in, I was gonna say scrubs. I guess that's scrubs. And he's got a knife, and he's doing a number on this one. And I gotta say, the music on this release is just as over the top as this album artwork. The lyrics on this release are just as over the top as this album artwork. And that's what I kind of appreciate about Ice-T and Body Count. Everything is just, he takes everything and puts it to 10. But I kind of get the impression that he's playing a character, right? Like he plays a cop, or he played a cop on Law & Order or whatever. I don't know. Doesn't matter. It's an enjoyable album. Fun to listen to. On this release, for me, the highlight is their interpretation of Pink Floyd's Comfortably Numb, and David Gilmour plays lead guitar on that song. It's really, really good. If you want to check out at least one song from this album, check out Body Count's reinterpretation of Comfortably Numb. They bring that song into the year 2024 or 2025. Really good. Last weekend, I was in a local record store, Old Gold Vintage Vinyl, which if you are ever in Winnipeg, I highly recommend. The store specializes exclusively in used and vintage vinyl, which is so hard to come by nowadays. Most stores I go to are like 80-90% new vinyl, but this place is all, they sell no new records, which is awesome. Anyway, did not have a lot of time there. I was with my kids, 13 and 16-year-old girls, and you know, they were looking through records and stuff, but I know when I am with them, my time is limited. So I was quickly looking through the new arrivals, and I saw this one in the new arrivals bin. This is a reissue of Ratt's 1990 album, Detonator. This is their 5th album, and it was, of those original 5 Ratt records, this is the only one I was missing on vinyl. So I was happy to grab it. At first when I saw it, I was like, is that an original? Is that an original? It wasn't. It was the reissue, but I'm still happy to get it. I'm surprised it actually turned up in the used bins right away, because this just came out. The reissue just came out in the past 6 months. I remember getting this back in 1990 and thinking it was better than the previous album, Reach for the Sky. It's still not my favorite Ratt album. This came out in 1990. Ratt was kind of desperate for another hit, and they enlisted Desmond Child to produce or co-produce this album, and Desmond Child also has writing credits on almost all the songs on this album. And if you don't know who Desmond Child is, he was that hit maker in the late 80s, and he co-wrote all the big songs with Bon Jovi, Aerosmith, that kind of thing. So I guess Ratt wanted a slice of that pie. So they are, at points, listening to this album, I feel like Ratt was trying a bit too hard to get that big hit single, but still a great album, and I'm happy to have this in my collection. I was also really impressed with the way this sounds. I've put this on, and then just to compare, I streamed the high-resolution digital file off of Tidal, and Tidal typically sounds really, really good, but this album on vinyl just sounded so much better. In my notes, I said the vinyl sounded fuller and more present, and I was pretty stunned by the difference. So surprisingly, I wasn't expecting much from this pressing, but it does sound really good. This is the recent reissue, which I found used, of Ratt's 1990 album Detonator. It's time to open the mail. This is awesome to have mail coming in again because Canada Post, the postal service here, was on strike for like a month, and the strike ended just before Christmas. So mail is finally starting to come in. In fact, just this week we had 2 Christmas cards come in, which is pretty wild. Anyway, a couple of packages, a couple of things I want to show you. This first one comes from viewer Graham in the UK, and thank you very much, Graham, for saying this over. Not at all necessary, but it's greatly appreciated. I think this is the 3rd Christmas in a row Graham has sent me some records to check out, so you are the man. Thank you very much, sir. I'll show you the records in a second, but first I'll read you part of the note. I always love the note. Graham writes, just a little something to say thank you for all the shows across the year, and a Merry Christmas to you and your family. And Graham, happy belated Christmas to you and yours, and happy belated New Year. Anyway, he sent me 2 albums to check out. The first one is the Skids. This is their second album from 1979 called Days in Europa. And Graham actually sent me the Skids' debut album 2 years ago. They were late 70s, mid to late 70s punk band out of the UK. Anyway, here he writes, this is not as punky as their debut album and a bit more progressive with a touch of synthesizer, but it still has some cracking guitar riffs. Absolutely. I hear a lot of similarities between these guys and The Clash. It was all kind of the same era, right? Late 70s. I made some notes here. What did I say? Because I've listened to this twice now. I said record 1 was a great listen. I heard a lot of similarities, I said, between the Clash and a little bit of Ramones. Good tunes. Very crankable. And I also wrote here that record 2, because this is a 2-record set, record 2 stumped me a bit. It was a bit, as Graham called it, progressive. Some people may call it odd. A little spacey, atmospheric, a lot of keyboards, a lot of echo, a lot of reverb, kind of like the spacey kind of stuff going on. So I found that to be a bit disjointed at times and a bit jammy. But I'm going to listen to it some more and get my head around it. But as I said, record 1 was rockin'. Record 2 might take me a little longer, a few more listens to kind of get into and comprehend. But anyway, cool album, The Skids, Days in Europa. Then he also sent me this one. The band is called Desperate Journalist, and the album is called No Hero. And Graham wrote, this is a bit different for me, but a post-punk band from London with their 5th album, elements of the Cranberries and a little bit of Susie and the Banshees. I always mess that one up. Hope I said that correct. Susie and the Banshees. Give it a try. See what you think. All the best, and keep on spinning, Graham. So I can definitely hear the Cranberries influence on here, and I love that name for a band, A Desperate Journalist. And this copy appears to be signed there as well, which was very cool. I've only given this one 1 listen. But it's pretty cool. It's a little more laid back, as Graham called it, post-punk. But it's a good listen, so I look forward to giving this a couple more spins. And again, Graham, I just wanted to say thank you. You did not have to send this at all, but it's greatly appreciated. And I'm actually going to play this one for Sherry, too, because she's a huge Cranberries fan. I think she's going to dig this as well. Graham, cheers, man. Thanks again. This next package really surprised me. I was super happy to get it. It came from my old pal and old colleague, Scott Messenger from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. We used to work together at the Northern Alberta Institute of Technology, which is a large college in Edmonton, and we both worked in the marketing and communications department. And Scott has always been a musician, as well as the best features writer I've ever known. When this guy writes a magazine article, man, it's hard to put down once you start reading it. He's got such a way with words, which is awesome. But Scott is also a musician, and his band put together and recorded an album on compact disc. The band is called Daughters of England, and the album is called Anomalies. And Scott sent this note about it, so I'll read you some highlights. It says, hi Frank, how are things? Happy to see that channel 33 RPM continues to grow. No big surprises there. You're a natural. Thank you very much, Scott. He says, hope the family is doing well and you're enjoying your time back in the homeland. When I lived in Alberta, I always used to refer to Manitoba as the homeland. What else? It says, news here, as you'll have discovered from this package, is that I finally did it, or we did it, to be accurate. The band, Daughters of England, hit the studio. We started playing a few shows around town too, which has been fun so far. A fairly innocuous midlife crisis all in all, even if only a little cheaper than a sports car. So this is cool. Here is the album. Came out on compact disc, 8 tracks. I've listened to it a couple times, and what did I say about this? I said Scott sings and plays bass. This is indie rock, indie alt rock, a bit mellow and laid back, but does kick it up on a few tracks as well. I really dig this, and I'm super happy for Scott that he finally got this product out, because I know how hard he worked on this band for many, many years. So hopefully this album is for sale somewhere. I know you can stream the Daughters of England on the music streaming services, but at least some more information on the screen for you so you can check it out. And I highly urge you to do it, because I know how, as I said, how hard Scott has worked on this. From Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, the album, or the band, pardon me, is called Daughters of England, and the album is called Anomalies. Cheers, man. Scott, congratulations. Well deserved. Excellent, excellent release. Cheers, man. All right, 33ers, what have you been spinning lately? Let me know. Thank you for watching. I do appreciate your time. Until next time, keep on spinning.